I've always been very, very interested in really what's going on in the guns and ammo industry as a whole, specifically the small arms ammo industry in the world, because generally speaking, depending on what's going on with ammo in the world, usually determines on what's going on with the world as a whole. When I was in college, I majored in biology, and there's a book we had to read called Guns, Germs, and Steel, and it was ultimately written on the premise that whoever controlled the guns and who was immune to the germs and who controlled the steel controlled the world, as it might say. And so I strongly believe that however the ammo industry goes in the world is how civilization goes. Because civilization has been driven by those who are in power because of things like guns and ammo. All right, so I have this infatuation with this particular subject, and I also have a small interest on a personal level with the U.S. Army small arms ammo manufacturing plant at Lake City Ammo in Independence, because I grew up around here. And as a matter of fact, the very first range I ever went to was Lake City Ammo Range. And it's a place that has just kind of always been there, if that makes sense. So something that I've learned with that backstory, something that I've learned over the last really 3 years is that when it comes to civilian ammo coming out of Lake City Ammo from the U.S. Army, a vast, well, I don't want to say a majority, but the biggest chunk of civilian ammo comes from there. Like, nobody does more civilian ammo than they do. And this particular ammo has always kind of had this underlying threat. You know, is it going to be available? Is it not going to be available? Are they going to cut contracts? Are they not going to cut contracts? That kind of thing. And I've watched that very closely. And something that I've learned over just the last few years is they really need us. The U.S. Army needs to be selling ammo to civilians. Well, why? Well, for several reasons. One, money. But the biggest one is to maintain an operating status that is similar to a wartime operating status. So they are following Vietnam. Lake City Ammo was just a big old rusty shell of a dilapidated ammo manufacturing plant. And it really wasn't until they started selling civilian ammo that they really ramped up production and were able to buy better machinery and better equipment, hire more people, that kind of thing. So they really need us, but I strongly believe that there are two scenarios that would cause the U.S. Army to immediately stop production of civilian ammo, definitely stop selling civilian ammo. I think the production will continue, they just won't be selling it to us. So what are these two scenarios? Now, there might be more scenarios, and I believe these are large scenarios as well, so you can kind of incorporate it all in there. But the first one is war. Obviously, if the United States engages in war, civilian ammo production ceases to exist. As a matter of fact, not only will the U.S. Army no longer provide ammo to civilians, it'll just be going to wartime, but they may, depending on how bad the war is, take control of the civilian ammo market as well. So civilian industry, they may take control of it as well. This is within the realm of the Constitution. They can do this. They did it in World War II, and they definitely will do it in another war situation that's big enough to cause that type of effect. So in the event of some sort of war with U.S. boots on the ground, I believe that'll cause the immediate cease of civilian ammo production. The second is really leaning on the government at all for ammo, and that's in the event of a tyrannical government. The only thing really stopping a government from really overthrowing itself or another country overthrowing us is really the fact that there's so many darn armed civilians. Japan withheld from invasion for that reason, and I believe many leaders have kind of held their hands up and thought, well, maybe I won't cross lines because there's so many darn armed citizens. But if they control the ammo, you really kind of disarm the citizens when it comes down to it. When it comes to some sort of a civil war, any sort of internal warfare, and whoever controls the U.S. Army is absolutely going to control the small arms ammo. And if that means that you're not on that side, you're not going to get any. They're going to immediately cease production for civilians. Now, I also like to kind of in an underlying way throw in that, maybe certain leaders might just take the civilian ammo away with kind of slowly disarming, which I would still argue is tyranny. So there you go, man. Those are what I believe to be the two big ones. I would be curious. I'm sure there's a few I've mentioned. I've thought a lot about this. And these are the only ones I really see, is American boots on the ground in a wartime situation. They will control the U.S. Army small arms ammo, and they'll probably control the civilian ammo market as well. Or just straight up tyranny, saying we're not arming the people that we're fighting against, the citizens. So there you go. Love to know your thoughts on it. If you have any other thoughts or any scenarios that you see where the U.S. Army would stop production of civilian ammo, put it below. But outside that, I think they need us. I think they definitely need us, and it'll be really a while outside of those two things before the U.S. Army even thinks about taking civilian ammo out of the market. So there you go. Again, any thoughts or insight, put it below. Do you want to take a moment, say most people watch the channel, hey, they're not subscribers, click that subscribe button. Greatly increases the algorithm and our ability to get these messages out. That link is below. But most important part of this channel, we take prayer requests. So please don't ever hesitate to send that in. Thank you for watching this episode of God, Family, and Guns. And as always, love God, love your family, and love guns.